Hey up! Good evening, all, and welcome back to Piggy Pen's Tube. I'm Joe. If you've not been here before, welcome. Today, I want to talk to you about some FOMO, some serious FOMO that you might have coming up. FOMO being, of course, fear of missing out. I wish I were clever enough to put some echo on that and make it more dramatic. So yes, the old FOMO is about to hit a lot of us, many of us, as we head towards the launch, if we aren't there already, of the brand new super duper overhauled colour cubes. You might have guessed what I'm going to talk about. So I have these, which are called colour cubes. They're from Sarah Renee Clark, and they're essentially 2 boxes of 250 colour palettes in each. They look like this on one side if you've not seen them before. So there is a photograph. I'll get on to why I'm talking about them shortly, but just to let you know what they essentially are. It's a photograph that Sarah has chosen from one of those websites where you can legally use the photos and images, on there, which I'm sure she pays for. So she selects photos and then she works out, photos that she feels has a nice colour palette to it and that she thinks that's a nice image because the colours are nice and they work together well. And then she selects colours. They all have hex codes from the image. She says she does it manually. So that can be quite painstaking, she says. And she chooses a palette in the end to go with the photograph, and these colours are taken from the photograph. On the back you have the main colour that's on the front, that's also the one down the middle there, then a version with, I guess, a white added and a version with a black added, or a lighter version or a darker version, whichever way you want to look at it, and they all have the hex code. So that's essentially what the colour cubes are. Now, so far there's been these 2 cubes out. I purchased them in July and I've enjoyed them. I like them. What Sarah Renee Clark as a business is doing now is scrapping these essentially. There's 100 cards in here that she didn't really like anyway. So she's scrapping these. She's relaunching 4 new colour cubes, still with 250 in each. The 400 cards in these 2 that she did like, she is spreading across the new 4 colour cubes. So these will cease to be produced. In fact, they've stopped being produced. They're just selling the old stock now until the launch of the new cubes. Any information that you want on the colour cubes, don't go to Facebook. Don't ask your friends. Just go to the Sarah Renee Clark website and read the FAQ on the new cubes. There is a little banner at the top of a website that says new cubes launch date. Click here for more details, I think. So I think you'll find it there. Everybody's got an opinion on this. I'm not going to go into it, and I don't really want to get into it on the comments of this video either. But just check out the FAQ. Any questions, email them. That's what I did, because I were a bit gutted. I had the fear of missing out, and I wanted the new 4 cubes, but I'm going to have 400 duplicates and I wasn't right happy about it. So I emailed them. I asked for a discount because I said I've only had them a couple of months. I want the new cubes, but I want a discount. So they gave me what I asked for and I was happy with that. So I am buying the new cubes. This video, though, is I'm asking the question, do you need them? And I don't think you do. I don't need them. I'm not saying I need them and you don't. I'm saying nobody needs the colour cubes. Nobody. But you might want them and therefore you might get them, which is fine. That's what I'm doing. I don't think I would be getting them at full price. I've only been able to justify it to myself because of the discount. The discount I feel has paid for these 2 cubes that I originally got. Based on the discount plus the use I've had out of them already, I feel like they've refunded me, if you like. That's how I feel. So now I'm happy to buy the new cubes at a slightly lower price, if that makes sense. But I don't think you need them. So this video is telling you how you can get the same thing but elsewhere, kind of. Not exactly the same thing, because they are a good product. The new cubes they've got like dividers, so that they're all categorized now as well, and there's all sorts of digital versions of the cubes available online that you can get if you pay for the full package. I'm not going to go into all the nitty gritty on the colour cubes. This is definitely not an advertisement for them. But please check out the website if you're interested in them. That is the place to go. Sarah Nay Clark as a business is the place to email. Don't get into it online, I would say. Stay clear of all that, because it's got a bit nasty, unfortunately. Some people, feeling a bit put out by the duplication of the cards. That's all I'm going to say on it. Right, shut up, Joe. Let's look at the positives. Where can you get colour palettes for your colouring book pages that you might want? All right, so let's get going with our 6 reasons that you may not need the colour cubes. Here we go. Number 1, free websites. There's a couple of websites that I would use. The first one is Coolors. And that's a colour palette generator, so you can simply go on there. It's literally one click, generate a palette. Just keep clicking, generate, until you find a palette that you think, ooh, that floats my boat. And then you can use it. So that's brilliant. And like I say, you can just keep clicking generate. Or there's another one called colour palette generator, and that's very, very similar. So just go to the website, it's one click. A colour palette generator is much the same. Just keep clicking generate until you find a palette that you like. And then I always just screenshot or download. So I'll take a screenshot, crop my image, and then I've got a nice photograph that I can look at on my phone. So that's colour palette generator and Coolors. Then, there's many more than that. You just need to Google. I would say Google colour palette generator, and you'll see loads and loads of websites offering you that, and you're getting exactly what's on here. You're even getting, certainly with I think colour palette generator, you're getting the hex codes as well. So it's no different. You just don't have a fancy photograph, I don't think, on those ones, but we'll get to something to do with photographs very shortly. Number 2, we have what exists around us. Kind of looking to life and nature and what exists around us. And by that I mean maybe photographs that you've taken. And it could be of nature, it could be of flowers, which is nature. It could be a landscape, it could be some vegetables, it could be a building, anything. Or photographs that you find online. And then you can go back to websites like Coolors. So if you go back there for a second, and I can show you that you can actually upload an image. So here's me uploading an image that I took of, I think, somewhere in the Peak District, one of the ridges in the Peak District, a nice landscape. And I'm asking the website to pull a palette from that photograph. So if you look at a picture like Sarah does and think, oh, isn't that a beautiful scene, love the colours in that sky, or whatever, forest, you can move the points around on the photograph to change the place that it's pulling the colour from. So that's kind of what Sarah's doing when she's making these cards. So that's Coolors. There's also Adobe. I have a website that does the same. So here's me uploading some vegetables that I grew this year. I took a photograph of, because I've got a vegetable growing Instagram. I'm rock and roll. If nothing else, I'm rock and roll. And also Colour Designer is another website. And here's me uploading, I think, an image of some toad flax, which I grew in my garden this year. It's a beautiful, beautiful plant, beautiful flower. Toad flax there, look, and it's pulling some nice palettes from the image. So yeah, so you've got the free websites so far that'll just give you a palette, and you've also got similar websites that will pull a palette from a photograph that you upload, and it doesn't have to be a photograph that you've taken, it could be one that you've found online. So any photograph that inspires you because of the colours contained within it, that's how you can get your colour palette. So yeah, and most of them offer a hex code as well, so that's fantastic. Best invention ever. Google! This is what I do probably when I'm not using these. I can't be bothered looking through them sometimes. It can take an age. I just have a quick Google for a bit of inspiration. So, for example, here's me searching for a Winter Wonderland colour palette. And I've got so many beautiful options. And all I need to do is download the image, and I've got this, but it's just on my phone, and it's specific to what I've asked for. You can even ask for more obscure things like, how about this, a vintage French cafe colour palette. The results might not be as on the money as with the Winter Wonderland one, that's a little bit more obvious, but you've still got some great colour palettes coming up and inspiration for if you're approaching a page that's, you know, vintage French cafe. So you can do that for anything at all, Halloween, Christmas, whatever. That's something I do all the time. Number 4, need we say any more? Pinterest. This one's very quick, I don't have to say much about it. Pinterest. So yeah, Pinterest is a great place to get inspirational photos that you could put in those websites that I've just spoke about. You'll find palettes on there as well. We don't need to say too much about that. Number 5, books. If you are into the colour cube like I am, because I don't like looking at colour palettes on my phone, I find the shine of the screen is problematic. It depends on how high I've got my brightness as to what I'm actually looking at. One of the best things about them is the matte, so you don't get that shine. If you want to look at a physical palette, how about one of these awesome books that's available on Amazon? So we have a variety of books here, look. Lots of lovely looking ones. You could click on those and see if it shows you any inside shots. And generally, I was looking before I bought these, and I think you're looking between £10 and £25 for one of these books. And do you get as many palettes in them? Some say you get thousands in them books. Some say 200. You just need to work out if the cost is worth it to you, and only you can answer that. It's whether it's worth it to you, and that's all that matters. So there's a variety of different books. One book in particular that I know a few YouTube colorists use is Practical Colour Combinations. So this is actually on a discount on Amazon UK at the moment, from 22 quid I think to about 15 quid, and there's loads and loads of colour palette ideas in there, as you can see. I'd recommend that one. I haven't got it, I've got these, but I'd recommend that. So yeah, books. If you need a physical colour palette, or you want to see it on paper instead of a shiny phone, try books. And the final reason that you may not need the colour cubes, number 6, is the colour wheel. The colour wheel. So this is a colour wheel. I hope that's in focus. I'm sorry if it's not. This is a colour wheel that I painted when I got my watercolours. The colour wheel, as you might remember from school, depends how old you are. When I was at school, it was red, yellow, blue. And you have, so basically, just to refresh you, these are your primary colours, as we know. You mix this and this and you get your secondary colour, which is green. You mix a primary and a secondary and you get your tertiary colour, yellow-green. This is your example there. There is a modern version of the colour wheel. Some people say it is the colour wheel to use now, magenta, yellow, cyan. Loads of artists and people have arguments about which is the right colour wheel. You pick the one that you like best. But I do recommend you learn a little bit about it if it's something that's new to you. And there's no better place to start than YouTube, and Sarah Renee Clark herself has done a fantastic video on understanding colour theory. I would suggest you start there if you're new to colouring and new to art. You know, maybe you can't remember what you were taught at school. It were a long time ago for me, believe me. It will help you because basically the human eye finds things aesthetically pleasing to it based on kind of the rules of the colour wheel, if you like. So complementary colours sit opposite each other on the colour wheel. We've got an analogous colours which sit next to each other on the colour wheel. So there's lots of reasons. So when you're seeing something like, I do love that combination like you get when you see a fire or flames where you're going, you know, yellow, orange. That works because the colours next to each other on colour wheel. When you see, they say red and green should never be seen, but that's not true. We see it loads at Christmas, don't we? So sitting opposite each other, so they work. Purple and yellow is always a good combo, isn't it? Again, they're opposite each other. This is a funny, this was my violet. So I actually did this by, it's not a perfect colour wheel. I did this myself by mixing 50%, 50%, and this is what I got. Now, was my 50% accurate or not? I don't think it was. I think it probably had too much blue in, and that's why my violet is more on the blue side than the red side. And because of that, I think that's why I've got a more browny red violet. But it was really good to do a colour wheel. You can do it with anything. Do it with your acrylic markers. Do it with your oh-hoo-hoo. Your oh-hoo-hoo would be great to do it with, actually, I think. Because you could run a red and a blue on top of each other. That's going to give you a purple, isn't it? And, you know, a blue and a yellow will give you a green. So, yeah, it's a fun thing, fun exercise to do is creating your own colour wheel. But, yeah, just watch that video of Sarah's first. So that is as long as this video is. I just really wanted to say around the time that it's launching these new colour cubes, they are a great product, but they are really, really overpriced. Really overpriced. Now, Sarah Renee Clark could tell me that, you know, she could break down all the costs to me of what the cost to make and fly them over to here, and it wouldn't matter. We're colouring in colouring books. I can only speak for myself. I'm colouring in colouring books. Do I think they're worth it to me? No. Why have I bought them? Because I have massive FOMO. Massive FOMO. And I wouldn't have bought them at full price if they hadn't said that they'd given me that discount because I bought these in the last 3 months. I wouldn't have bought them because they're not worth it. At the full price, they are not worth it. Not to me anyway, but if you work in interior design, if you're a clothing designer, if you design fabrics, if you are an interior decorator, if you're an artist that sells the work, maybe they're worth it to you. What am I going to do with these two old boxes of the 400 cards that she does like and the 100 cards that she doesn't like? Well, I like them all, so I think you did a better job than you're giving yourself credit for, Sarah. There is quite a lot of duplicates, to be honest. All these ones that were pulled out, not these ones on top, but these around here are what I pulled out as alternative Halloween or alternative autumn palettes, you know, less obvious ones. But when I was looking at them, I thought, whoa, there is a lot the same, actually. A lot of... So I think that's what she's done. Some of the 100 that she... Look at these two, for example. They're not... They share quite a lot of similar colours, don't they? They're not exact, but just pulling them off there as an example. So, yes, I don't think... Look at them two. So, you know, they're a fantastic physical product. The card, the matte finish is great, but you don't need them. You'll never see me talk about mine or use them. I will not advertise them because of the price. I know why she wanted to improve a product, but it just felt a little bit... Just left a bad taste in my mouth of selling these without being open about the fact that they were launching new cubes imminently. So all the people that have recently bought these, when they knew all along that they were going to be you know, no longer produced. It just left a bad taste in my mouth, like I say. I like Sarah Renee Clark. She's actually one of my favourite YouTubers. I made all my decisions on pencils, on paints, acrylic markers, Crayolas, anything on the back of her videos because I really trust her as a YouTuber. I do think what she does, holding brands to account, is fantastic, and I think her YouTube content is fantastic, and that's why I know she won't mind me making this video, because she'll never see it anyway because I'm small fry compared to Sarah Renee Clark. But yeah, this is from me to you, just a bit of advice. If you don't have the colour cubes yet and you were thinking when this hype starts in a few days, you're going to see all the content creators that have been sent them free from Sarah so they can advertise them for her. Just you know, if you want to spend the money, spend it. It's your call. I just want you to know that there's other options out there. And that's it from me. All right. I hope you enjoyed this short video. Ta-ra for now.